Hi everyone, it's Katie from Chords Records. Welcome to my channel. I'm doing the Japan Vinyl Tag 2024 that I found out about through Mazzy, but is from Brian from Tokyo Record Style. It really piqued my interest. I just thought it was such a clever idea to kind of flip the tag on its head and really thematically look at it from a place that Brian's been living for 20 years, and Japan is obviously in his soul. And so he's taken all these cues around Japan and the aesthetic of Japan, the cultural, artistic kind of vibe of Japan, and turned it into a vinyl tag. And I just loved it. And it hasn't had too many offerings, so I urge you to have a go. It was done about sort of mid-August, so I'll link his channel below so you can have a go yourself if you're into it. So everything is kind of, all the tags are named around kind of a Japanese theme or essence, or sort of an artistic, stylistic thing. But you can really pick any record you want. So without further ado, there's 20 questions. I'll go through it quite quickly, but some of the records are really interesting, so stick around so you can see them. I've really enjoyed kind of picking them out specifically for each one. Okay, so the first one is Obi-Wan. And of course, this is show a record with a Japanese Obi strip or a cool insert. And I've chosen my recent acquisition of Split Enz Time and Tide with that's the Japanese version with the Japanese Obi strip there. If you're a regular viewer of my channel, you know I'm trying to collect all the Split Enz albums. I've only got one to go, and I'm very, very happy with this purchase. This plays beautifully. Obviously Japanese press. So that's my first one, the Obi-Wan. The second one is a Japanese band or artist. Of course, I couldn't go past Yoko Ono. Huge fan of her, huge fan of the Fluxus movement, which is what she came out of in the 60s. And this is something I picked up at a Yoko Ono exhibition about 5-6 years ago. It's a limited edition of 1,000. It's just a little 10-inch live October 1, 2010. So that's my Japanese band or artist. Okay, the next one, a sunrise soundtrack. Share a record watching a sunrise. I could not go past Nina Simone, Here Comes the Sun, on this RCA orange label. Isn't that a beautiful cover? It just speaks sunrise. Okay, the next one is City Sounds, kind of show a record with city vibe, Tokyo being such a vibrant city. And I chose this recent reissue of an OJC from Craft recording, In Orbit, by Terry Clark. Put this on and you feel the city. It is such an amazing release. If you have not got this, get it if you're into jazz. And in fact, I'll be featuring quite a few albums from my jazz collection in this, which I haven't done much in the past, so I'm excited about that. Okay, the next one, Zen listening. Show a record that quiets your mind. And I'm showing another recent acquisition. This is the just release half-speed master of Sade's Lovers Rock, with that stunning song on it, By Your Side. And this is just such a beautiful recording. It quietens my mind. It's so beautiful. And I only received it last week. I'm very excited about that. Okay, the next one, Go, 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 Godzilla. So this is share a record that destroyed your music expectations and perceptions in a good way, like it blew your mind and you never looked at things again the same. And I'm featuring this kind of a press from a record shop, Noble Records. You'd probably all know Dylan from Noble Records, and he's releasing his own kind of small print, small press issues of long lost albums and bands. And this was a local North Carolina band that he discovered and worked with the actual artist who's now in his 70s. The guy was from the early 70s, and it's kind of early prog rock, almost kind of harkens back to a bit more Kinks kind of vibe, but it's very much early prog rock, and this blew my mind. It blew my musical expectations. I had no idea what to expect. I put this on and it was just incredible. So that's my Go 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 Godzilla. Right, the next one in the Japanese vinyl tag. So the next one is interesting. It's an album which is ahead of its time. Obviously, so many things in Japan are ahead of its time. Tokyo is ahead of its time, artistically and musically. And the idea around this question was a piece of an album that really kind of sort of forecasted the future. It really was ahead of its time. And I think a lot of fusion jazz and jazz were kind of ahead of its time, really. But the one that I've chosen is Headhunters by Herbie Hancock. I think this was such an incredible album when it came out. I would have loved to have kind of been old enough to appreciate it when it came out of the time, and to be blown away by this kind of phenomenal album. So this is my pick for ahead of its time. I know that Herbie had been doing a few and it probably wasn't quite ahead of its time, but it does for me represent kind of that kind of very early fusion. Okay, the next one is a fun one. Take a Walk, Man. Get it? Walkman, Sony Walkman. So Sony Walkman came out in kind of 1979. And the actual question of Take a Walk, Man tag is show an album suitable for dubbing to a cassette for the classic Sony Walkman. And I chose this incredible album by Jon Batiste. I've got the limited edition cover here off the artist's site when it first came out. It's called World Music Radio. Look at that. He's actually holding one of those portable beat boxes. It is such an interesting album if you haven't heard it. Jon Batiste, obviously an incredible composer, a multi-instrumentalist, and really jazz is his primary kind of go-to, but very modern. This album, he wanted to look at world music, but in the kind of concept of a radio station. And so in between each song, you're dialing in and you know, shh, you've joined the radio station of blah, blah, blah. You know, that was a really bad example, but you get the idea. And it's really great. So you've kind of dialed into this world music radio station. And so he explores different kind of world music genres and jazzy genres. Perfect for a cassette tape. Okay. The next one is Bullet Train. Show a record perfect for a train ride. And I have chosen the Blue Note. This was the classic vinyl series. This Ready for Freddie. From the moment you put this on, it just keeps going and it just doesn't stop, and it's fantastic. And so this is the Bullet Train album that I have chosen for the Japanese vinyl tag. Okay, so the next one is Lost in Translation. So share a record that takes you to a different world. This was a little bit hard for me because I don't have a lot of, and I did take it quite literally, I don't have a lot of, let's say, kind of foreign albums or albums that really take me to a different place. But one I do have, as a massive Linda Ronstadt fan, Still getting her albums in the $5 bin. In fact, today I went to a record fair and picked up 3 for $5. Is her incredible Mexican language album. I'm not even going to try and say it because I'm Australian and I don't know Spanish to save my life, but you guys can have a go. I don't want to butcher it. This is such a beautiful album. This was the repress that came out in partnership with Linda Ronstadt last year. We're all with her kind of her people, her management, on a label called Iconic. And I put it on for the first time today when I was thinking about this this video. I know the album, but I hadn't listened to it for years and years. And wow, I'm keeping it out. I'm going to play this a lot over the weekend. This is just beautiful. This is my Lost in Translation. Okay, so the next one is live at the Budokan. It's I'm sorry if I'm getting that wrong. I know it's a famous Japanese Budokan, famous Japanese venue that if you went to Japan, you had to play there. And actually, in the original Vinyl Tag video, he talks about it was actually you had to release a live album. It was actually a condition of performing there that you had to release a live album. That's why there's so many live at Budokan albums. I saw one this same record fair that I saw I picked up the Linda Ronstadts. I saw the Bob Dylan live at from 1978 today. It was $40. I didn't pick it up. But this particular question, show any record recorded live. And I have chosen this very special recording of Sarah Vaughan live at the Berlin Philharmonie, 1969. It's a numbered edition from the Lost Recordings. If you're familiar with this, the kind of issue series from Europe, they kind of find these lost recordings and literally put them out on vinyl, and they start off numbered and then they move into non-numbered, and they're beautifully created. The packaging is beautiful. You can see the gold etching on there, and this is my numbered one. So that is a beautiful recording, and that's my live album for the Vinyl Tag. Right, the next one is Vinyl Bar DJ. So this is an album or a record you'd play at a vinyl bar. And I've chosen this one. Domi and J.D. Beck. I've shown it once before, a long time ago, but these two prodigies are incredible jazz musicians. One's a drummer and one's a pianist. And when you put this on, this is perfect vinyl bar fodder. It's kind of having a cocktail. It's probably summer, and it's just the coolest jazz. These guys are met, I think, at jazz school. I think they might be French, but they live in America. Fantastic duo. Sorry, I don't know much more about them. I know that they won the Grammy for Best New Jazz Artist, I think. I don't know much. Look it up. But they're really brilliant. Okay. So the next one is Island Nation. Share a record with an island vibe. And I liked this question because sort of like Japan, Australia is also an island. And I'm also half New Zealander, which is also an island. So kind of really got a feel for it. I could have chosen any of my Australian albums, any of my New Zealand albums, but I think the intent was an island vibe. And oh, I don't think I've got it here. I won't be able to show it, but I chose an album called Sway Wild, and I've shown it in a previous video. I'll link that below because I haven't got it in front of me. But Sway Wild are a man and woman married couple who live on the islands outside of Seattle, and she's an incredible electric guitarist, and he is a drummer, and they perform as a duo called Sway Wild, and they're really incredible. Look them up. They're fantastic. And they live on an island outside of Seattle. So that's my island vibe. Okay, the next one is Monsoon Season. Share a record for a rainy day. And the album I have chosen was one I did pick up at this record fair today. I was so excited about this, and it is such a beautiful copy. This is Fred Neil, Little Bit of Rain. Now, some of you may know I did a video a month or so back on Karen Dalton, which has had over 10,000 views. It's like it went a little bit viral, and the history of Karen Dalton is so moving. But she was discovered by, or she was nurtured and discovered kind of by Fred Neil, and he was kind of an early folk singer right out of New York. He discovered Bob Dylan. They were playing in the little folk clubs in New York. And in fact, this album is a 1970, and this is an original 1970 reissue of another album of his. They renamed it. And the original name was the McDougal and something. It was 2 streets in New York, which is where this little bar was. But this reissue, they renamed it A Little Bit of Rain after one of the songs. And it is so, so beautiful. I wish more people knew about Fred Neil. I'm sure all of the people watching my video know about him because I have a kind of a genre of music I like. But this album is just so beautiful, and I was lucky to pick up this very clean, very, very clean, quiet copy of this 1970 reissue. And this is my Monsoon album, A Record for a Rainy Day. Okay, we're getting up to the last 5 or 6. So number 15, Wabi Sabi. So show a record that's imperfectly perfect, and that concept around that, the Japanese craft of everything that's a little bit it could be a bit broken or cracked is actually perfect in its beauty. And I just love that concept. And I chose this record. You'll never guess. It's a early prog rock band called East of Eden, who had 1,000 different band kind of changes throughout their kind of short-lived life. This one is a self-titled East of Eden, and it's imperfectly perfect. So it's a bit rough around the edges. You can see there's a massive tear through, and I thought that was almost like the kind of gold fixed cracks through the Japanese ceramics. And I thought that was such a great example for Wabi Sabi, perfectly imperfect. Right, the next one is Origami Me. Show a record with intricate or interesting packaging. And I chose this. This one is a bit rough around the edges. And I don't even know if I've got the full cover. I'll get it out. I chose Roberta Flack, Killing Me Softly. And I've got a couple of these, and they're all a bit torn. But I just loved how the piano kind of opened up. Isn't that beautiful? I just thought that was quite a good one for the Origami Me packaging question. Roberta Flack, Killing Me Softly, and what a great album. Okay, so the next one, Fusion Frenzy. Share an album that fuses genre as well. I couldn't go past Weather Report, classic fusion band, and this one is Mr. Gone. Look at that great cover. I could have chosen that for City Nights or City Vibes. Okay, so number 18, Tokyo Nights. What did I choose? Oh, so this is a nightlife record, a record that you'd play in the night, or you would play as you set out into the night, or that, you know, just gives you that feeling of nighttime vibes in a busy city like Tokyo. And I chose this famous Australian electronic band Tame Impala and their album Lonerism. We're massive Tame Impala fans in this household, and we've got all their original albums. So this is their kind of original, I think it was 2011 Gatefold, 2012. Really great nightlife record. Okay, coming up for the final 2 questions. The second to last one, number 19, End of the Day. And I think I'm going to, the Japanese version of this is Otsu Karasama. I hope I've said that right. Otsu Karasama. Show a record to play at the end of a busy day. And I chose Joni Mitchell's Clouds. And I just love the end of the busy day, the beautiful sunset. And I think that's British Columbia in Canada. Isn't that beautiful? And this is just the most perfect end of a busy day. Perfect album to put on. This is one of her paintings. And then finally, this one's a little bit kind of, I guess, sad, but it's called The Last Samurai. And it's share a record to be remembered by, to play at your memorial. And I had to really think about this, but I thought I was trying to be really honest with myself. And, you know, who knows if I'll change my mind in 5, 10, 20 years' time, if I live that long. But for the past 5, 10 years, I've been a massive Brandi Carlile fan, Americana artist in America. And my favorite album of hers is Give Up the Ghost. And I thought that was quite appropriate for something at your memorial, Give Up the Ghost. But the reason I chose it, not for the funny title, was it has my favorite song of hers on here called Pride and Joy. I just love that song. But there is also a song on there called Dying Day, which I also thought was a bit funny. So that is the record that I would love to have played at my memorial, if you're watching this, family. Okay, so that is my Japanese vinyl tags from the Tokyo Record Style YouTube channel, Brian, who's been living there for 20 years. So check him out, check out the tag. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed. It really helps me. It helps the channel. I'm loving doing these videos, and I hope you're enjoying them. And as always, I am absolutely loving the comments and the recommendations and your thoughts and any recommendations you make. I've bought a little book, a little green book, which I'm writing them in. And that matches my little blue book, which I've been keeping for years and years and years, of recommendations from the vinyl community when they do lists. So I've been keeping this probably for 6 years. So I now have 2 books, one for watching YouTube videos and keeping notes of them. And the green book is now, I am making notes of comments and recommendations that you make, so I can take it to Vinyl Digs and have it on hand. So there you have it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.